everyone. How y'all doing? Welcome back to Sweet Tomato Vine Homestead. My name is Linda, and today our project is planting some seeds, getting our seedlings ready for our summer crops. And some of those crops are going to include our squashes. I like to do squashes. I like to grow them, and I like to can them. I don't put them in jars. I freeze my squashes. This is a Grace zucchini. And the first one I showed you was the long neck yellow. And this is a mix in here. It has the green zucchini also. This is an acorn squash. It is considered a winter squash. And not because you plant it in the winter or grow it in the winter, but because you can store it over the winter. So that is why they call some of those squashes winter squashes, because they store a long time. You can just lay them in the pantry in a box or just on the shelf, and they have a really tough skin, so they last a long time. Another zucchini. And then we're also going to be planting our cucumbers. I have a couple of different varieties of cucumbers. This one is a national pickling, and this one is a muncher. I'm also going to be starting my melons, my cantaloupe, and these are some sugar baby watermelons. I'm going to be planting those up also, getting those seeds started. And there's another squash. I'm also going to plant these pumpkin seeds and see if they'll germinate, because I've had them for a long time and I haven't been planting any pumpkins. So I'm going to go ahead and plant those, because there's a lot of recipes that you can use to with your pumpkins. You can one thing, you can get the seeds out of them and roast them, and they're very nutritious. So don't count your pumpkins out. They're not just for the holidays or anything like that. You can use them in your everyday recipes. I'm also going to plant some eggplant. I don't have it's not a photo on there, but I think most people know what eggplant look like. And patty pan squash. Patty pan squash is one of my favorite squashes. And if you never tried patty pan squash, I recommend it. It is very delicious. And it freezes well. And it's just delicious. It has more substance or texture to it than the other squash, the yellow. Most people are used to eating the yellow or crookneck squash. And they get really mushy faster to me. These are more firm in texture. And I just think they're delicious. And they come in different colors, and they look real pretty in the garden when you plant them. I also have a Cushall squash. And for years, I had never heard anyone even talk about Cushall squash. I don't have a picture of it, but if you get a chance, do some research on the Cushall squash. And it is very delicious. When I was growing up, my dad grew them. And I had never saw one. It looked so weird because it has like a shape of a crookneck squash, but it's huge and it's green and it's kind of striped. And when you cut it open, it has like a golden flesh to it, and it has seeds in it. But what my mother would do, she would take it and she would dice it up and boil it and drain it and then season it up and cook it the way that you cook your sweet potatoes. And then she would also make custards out of them, pies. And you would know the difference between the sweet potato pie and the Cushall pie, because the Cushall pie had that more golden texture, where the sweet potato pie is more orange. But both were so delicious. When she cooked them for the holidays, we would dig into both, equally, because they were both very delicious. And so I had never heard anyone speak of them. And for years, when I would talk to other gardeners, I would ask them if they had ever heard of it. And most people said no, they had not heard of it. But one day I was watching Homestead Heart. If you get a chance to look at her channel, she does a lot of canning and good things like that. I learned a lot of canning by, you know, how to pressure can by watching her channel. And she was talking about Kushall squash. And that's what really got me to watching her channel even more when I saw that she was familiar with it, because that brought back an old childhood memory of mine. And so I planted some last year, and it seemed like they started off okay, but it seemed like longer, I guess because it was different things going on in the season. It took longer for them to germinate, and when they did germinate, by the time it got time for me to expect a harvest, they were just getting started good. And so I never really got a good harvest off of my Kushall squash. So that's one reason I'm going to go ahead and get started early. We at like 2 weeks away from our last estimated frost date. And so, you know, 2 weeks in, we can go ahead and get these Kushall and these other squash plants germinated, and then we can, after there's no more danger of frost, we can go ahead and pop them into the garden, and maybe we'll have a better chance, you know, in case something happens or anything different in the weather, or you know, we'll go ahead and be able to get a harvest. So that's why I'm starting. It may seem kind of early, but I'm going to go ahead and start my seeds in hopes that I'll be able to get some of this stuff. So I've already got my soil over here, and I've got my drain pan, and I've got some trays, because I won't be starting a lot of these seeds, because these are some of your crops that are prolific. They'll give you a big harvest once they start to putting off fruit, and it'll be on a regular basis. So it's not like I'll need 12 plants of each, but I am going to do 6, because I just like to, you know, since I'm going to use this tray, I'm going to use all of it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead. I've moistened my soil. And the soil that I use, y'all, is the peat moss. I got my peat, and I mixed a little perlite in, not a whole bunch, because as I told you before, to me, this is just the way I do it. I think that these seeds have what they need, unless you have a problem with the seeds, and the seeds are a old seed and or something different, you know, is going on with that seed, and it doesn't germinate. But most of the time, these seeds are going to have everything they need to pop through the soil. It's just up your responsibility to make sure that if there are any sticks or anything in your soil, to make sure that you get them out so that your seed don't have a problem pushing through the soil because of some of these sticks. So I'm going to move the camera where you all can see what I'm doing. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start filling up our trays. I got my soil right here, and I'm just going to fill them up and start to dropping these seeds in. And I'm using these kind of deep trays because I don't plan on potting up on these. I plan on, once these get big enough to need to be up potted, they're going to be getting potted into the garden, whether it be in a 5-gallon bucket. And like I was telling you all, everything, it don't mean someone has to come and dish your garden space up, because if you don't have that type of space, then you can go ahead and just use a grow bag, because I know a lot of people are getting away from the plastic. So you can use a grow bag and go ahead and start your plants up, so that if you like squash, you can have some squash growing out in your yard this year. If, you know, whatever it is that you love to eat, something that will keep you from having to run to the store every day. If you like okra, if you have a space, or if you have a small space and it's just you and a couple of children, because a lot of times kids don't eat that much okra. Well, you could just go ahead and plant a couple of okras in a bucket or in a grow bag. And once you get into the season, okra will keep you busy because you will be able to go out and pick okra every day once it warms up. So if it's something that you like and you know that you would eat that, and that will keep you from every day trying to figure out what you're going to eat, because you know, I know sometimes you get bored with eating the same thing over and over, but to keep me out of the grocery store, I don't get bored with it. You just fixed it a different way. You know, fix the, instead of having some French fries, you do some scalloped potatoes with some onions and bell peppers or something like that, so that you'll enjoy the food that you are growing. And, you know, but at least grow something. That is, you know, that's my goal with this channel, is not only to have a record, because I need to have a record of what I'm doing so that I can see what is happening. You know, like last year we didn't grow a lot of things, but we knew, you know, because of the weather, different things that happened, a lot of different variables. But also my goal for having this channel is to help some people to see that they can grow some food. A lot of people that know me probably never knew, you know, they might, if they know me personally, they know that I love to garden. But a lot of people that see me and had not known me personally probably never knew that I love to garden and I love to grow my own food. So this way I can get the word out to some people that you can grow your own food. You do not have to be worried about running to the grocery store every day or every other day. I remember once upon a time, I was that person. Every day that I got off from work, I stopped at the grocery store to get my groceries, of what I was having for supper. I look back on those days and I was like, oh my goodness, the money that I spent, that I wasted running to the grocery store every day instead of growing my own food for that period. So now, you know, as I've learned better, I do better. So that's what I want some of my friends and family to do. I want you to realize that you can do better. You can grow your own food. You don't have to run to the store just to get a bell pepper. You don't have to run to the store just to get an onion. You can be growing those things in your yard, and you can freeze them or preserve them so that you can have them later when you need them. So now we're going to go ahead, we're going to get our, going to go ahead and start with these cushaw seeds, because we're going to make sure, and I did moisten my soil, but I am going to water this in. And I was telling y'all that my little pen had went out, so I ordered another one, and I ordered this one smaller because as the pen was going out, my garden marker was going out, and I just broke one of my labels. I realized that the felt end got kind of big and I couldn't hardly write, but this one I ordered with a smaller tip. So we're going to see how it works. We're trying it out. All right, I like the way it does. I like the way it made this. I don't know, that's probably going to be reading backwards for y'all, but yeah, I like that. So that was another purchase from Amazon. But we're going to go ahead. And these cushaw seeds, I guess they put something on them to make them look green like that. We're going to go ahead and we're going to poke them down. I don't want to break my seeds, so I'm going to make sure I got enough soil in there. Make sure that you got a firm, even though these seeds are large, I want to make sure that it's firm enough down in there so that I can get these seeds planted and they do not go down to the bottom when I water them in. So I'm going to go ahead. Well, I put an indentation in there. You want to make your hole to be as deep as your seed is. So since these seeds are big, I made a hole. You remember with those little seeds, a lot of them, I basically sprinkle them on the top of the soil because they're so tiny. And you know that those tiny seeds like that, they'll just go to the bottom of the container, or the bottom of your tray once you water them in. So I'm going to wait until I'm finished with all of them to water them in. But I got my kush all done, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stick my label in. And I'm excited about these seeds, y'all, because like I was saying, I love these squashes. A lot of people don't like squash, but I love it. And I think that the reason why they don't like it is because they've only tried a couple of varieties, and they probably only tried it one way. There are different ways to cook your squash. You can, I need to go ahead and put this in, put some more soil in there. You can bread your squash up, season it, and you can fry it. Because sometimes you miss that fried food if you don't eat fried food a lot. And so that's a nice treat. Some fried squash. And a lot of people definitely don't like it because they think the only way that you can cook it is to boil it. I very seldom do a boil, you know, have boiled squash. I'll like saute it with onions. And it's delicious that way. Okay, so we're going to push those seeds down in there. And this is one of the varieties of patty pan. Patty pan, as I said, come in a lot of different colors. This is a mix, and I think I'm going to do more than one tray of this. Look at this little tiny writing on here, because I don't think that they put on here which variety. It just says 3 colors mixed patty pan squash. So that is not telling me very much. So I'm just going to put 3 colors mixed on my label. That's a little too many words. 3 patty pan. Just put 3 patty pan varieties. And go ahead and label that one. I'm thinking that I probably need to do some more. But what I'm going to do, I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to save those for later. Go ahead and do my spaghetti squash. Because I will be succession planting these crops. Like right now, I'm getting these ready. But once the danger of frost has passed, I will just come out and just sow some of these into some of my garden spaces. So I won't have to just depend on these 6, because you have to succession plant when you're trying to make sure that you've got food to can, to freeze, preserved. I dehydrate. So I plan later on to freeze dry once I purchase a freeze dryer, because those ways of doing your food has a lot of different benefits. And freeze dry, if you've ever eaten any freeze dried foods, you know that they taste delicious, especially like strawberries and bananas and pineapples. They are delicious, and that's a good way to get your children to eat a lot of the fruits and vegetables that they don't eat, is to freeze dry them. And I guarantee you they will eat them freeze dried. All right, so this one is the spaghetti squash. And if you've ever had spaghetti squash, it is a good alternative if you have a problem with eating carbs and you don't want to consume a lot of different pastas, but you want that feeling of eating spaghetti. This is a good route to take, to plant you some spaghetti squash. And it looks like spaghetti when you take your fork and you cut it open, and you take your fork and you just get the fruit out, and it comes out in strings like spaghetti. And you can cook it and serve it the way that you do your spaghetti, with your sauce or however you do your spaghetti. Okay, so now this one is a straight neck. And I don't remember these seeds doing too well for me last year. I need to plant them, but I don't know if I want to. I'm not going to try them right now. I'm going to go ahead and plant some of these, summer squash that I purchased from the Dollar Tree, fresh this year. And I'm going to go ahead and try those because I'm ready to get some stuff to germinate. And I'm just, I might plant those, but I need some stuff that's going to go ahead and get with it. Come on with it this time. I'm ready to start seeing some food growing. All right, so we got that summer squash. And these are looking like some straight necks on here. So we're going to go ahead and put in, we got 6. And we'll make our label. Summer squash. And these are the Sugar Baby watermelons. I'm going to go ahead and do a Sugar Baby watermelon. And these seeds in the Sugar Baby watermelon are small because Sugar Baby watermelons are small. And this year, though, I plan to do more large varieties of watermelon. Last year, I did those small ones, and they were like eat on an individual level. I need those big ones. I want the big watermelons so we could eat, not those little tiny ones individual. We want to slice it up and sit it in the refrigerator, because then you have the harvest is better on those big ones. So we're going to go ahead, and I'm not putting these very deep because the seeds are tiny, because it's going to be a tiny watermelon. But I did want to go ahead and get one of those in, just in case when my little grandkids or my great-grandkids are here, they can have their own little individual, and I think that'll be cute. So we're going to have some Sugar Baby watermelons. And that's another thing. We need to get our children started in the garden. When my great-grandkids and my grandkids come over, they get a kick out of going into the garden and seeing the different things that are growing and picking food, harvesting food right out the garden and just starting to eat. So I want to make sure that, I plant those seeds in their life so that they'll know that they can do that. They can garden. They can grow up. Once you grow up doing it, it kind of sticks with you. You might slip off the track, like I did when I was going to the store every day getting, but that just, I don't know, it was more, I think, a convenience thing, and, but you have to sometimes, especially like now with the everything that's going on with the food, we got to get away from that. We got to realize that it's seriously time to start growing our own food. So we got 6 of these. 6 of these cucumber, and this is the National Pickling. So this be the one that I'll be able to make me some pickles off of. Because some cucumbers don't make good pickles. I made some pickles last year with some cucumbers that I'm blaming on the cucumbers. They ended up kind of mushy, and I just think that it's the type. It's because that was the first time I've ever used those cucumbers. I saw someone else say that you could use them and they would make pickles. They make some pickles if you want to put them in potato salad, but not for putting on these hamburgers. My kids like to eat pickles on the side of their burgers, and so they don't want those soft pickles on the side of the burger. So they'll be good for some potato salad. All right, so that was the National Pickling. So I'm going to go ahead and end the video here, you all, and I'll do the rest of these off the camera because I think it, you know, it's just I'm just basically doing the same thing over and over. So I hope that you all will go ahead and get your seeds started, and I hope that you have a blessed rest of your day.